What's up, guys? It's Westo here. So yeah, just a quick disclaimer. I have to record these videos on my phone. Reason being, my computer is absolutely fucked. I've still not got it back yet, and the guy's taken quite a while to get it fixed. So yeah, that's why the last video sounded pretty chopped on the audio. And I'm so sorry that I still have to record on my phone. So please don't fucking flame me in the comments and be like, "Oh yeah, you're a fucking loser." Get a better mic, you know. So yeah, I do apologize. But yeah. Usually people go to me like, "Oh, are you ever gonna do these storytime videos on your channel?" And I kind of like fucked up the last one. I didn't do such a long video. So this is gonna be like a long video. I think it's gonna be like 30, 40 minutes. I'm not too sure. But yeah, if you guys enjoy, just leave a like, maybe comment. I would really appreciate it as it helps me boost my ego and it helps me boost my motivation into doing these videos. Without further ado, have a good day, guys. Enjoy. So today's story takes place in 2022. Now, 2022 obviously was quite a fun year. I mean, obviously we still had like the issue of COVID, and it wasn't as serious where I was at. Obviously, they took it serious in 2021 in my area, but 2022 wasn't as bad. I actually caught COVID that year, so it was kind of shit for me, but yeah, whatever. So yes, the story takes place in 2022. At this point, I was 15. So yeah, I meant to mention in my last story, I wasn't 15 in 2020. I was actually younger than that. So that's fun. So yeah, I was 15 and I just like gotten kicked out of school, like permanently. I guess like the teachers kind of had enough of me, and actually yeah, I'm going to tell this part. It's like a mini story. So yeah, one day I was in school. I was in English, and our teacher was like heavy on the lesbian LGBTQ stuff. Very supportive of it, and I don't have an issue with people that are gay or that whole thing. I really don't have an issue with them. I think people like that are very nice. And it doesn't really matter what your sexuality or gender is. You can still be a good person. I really don't believe in I don't know, judging on their beliefs, I guess. So yeah. And she was very heavy into that stuff. So I was like, okay, you know what? She's chill. Everyone's chilling in the class. We're kind of just sitting on our phones on like Netflix. I was listening to music in my headphones at the time, so And I'm sitting next to my friend, and I say, "Hey, do you want to hop on like Rainbow Six Siege tonight?" And we all know Rainbow Six Siege, good game. But yeah, I asked that to my friend, and this teacher freaks out on me. Like all of a sudden, she just freaks out, and she's shouting at me. She's like, "What did you just fucking say?" I was like, "Why are you swearing? What the? What? Why are you swearing at me?" She's like, "Get out of my classroom right now!" And she's going crazy at me. And she said, "Yeah, go to the office." And the office is basically what the head teacher was, like the rector. You get like deputy, like rectors and stuff. So I had to go there. And at this point, I'm so confused. I'm like, what did I even do? And even my buddy at the time, we'll call him Jake. We'll stick to the last name. We'll call him Jake again. And Jake's like, what did he say? Like, he didn't say anything wrong. Like, why are you kicking him out? And she says, it's got nothing to do with you. Shut up. So as I'm walking out the class, she's like on the phone. I think she's like telling someone I'm going up there. And I get up there, and I'm just kind of sat at the chairs at the office. We called them the blue chairs because they were like the blue chairs of death or whatever. So yeah, we were sat there. I was sat there. I say we as in you guys were sat there too. No, it was just me. I was sat there like really confused, and yeah, I got called in. I went in, and the head teacher was there. He was like, "So do you know why you're in here?" I was like, "No, I've got no idea." He's like, "Well, we had a report of one of the teachers that you made a homophobic comment, and at this school, we don't tolerate that. So, you're excluded." I was like, "What?" I didn't say anything homophobic. I asked my friend if he can get on a game with me. And he said, "No, like you're excluded. I think we're gonna do it permanently this time. You've had enough warnings in the past, so no, you're done. I'm gonna call your dad." I was like, "Okay, call my dad then." I was like what the fuck? So yeah, and he comes and picks me up, and he takes me home, and then he gets an email from the school like, "Y'all coming at this date for a meeting." So I pretty much got like a free like couple days off school, right? And yes, granted, he kind of like permanently kicked me out, but I didn't see the issue with that back in the day, just because I was like, you know what, I don't have to go to school. It's not an issue. So yeah, I'm kind of go home. Obviously, I get grounded. but for me, my parents didn't really ground me. Mainly because obviously I was kind of a trouble kid, so I kind of did what I wanted when I wanted, and yes, I shouldn't be acting like that. Was I a spoiled little brat? Yes, I was. Did I deserve it? Yeah, I feel like I did. I had a pretty rough childhood. So yeah, they couldn't really ground me. They would say they would ground me, they would take my stuff off me, but they could never really ground me, if you know what I mean. Like, they wouldn't stop me from going out with my friends or sit on my phone or secretly playing on my like computer or my PlayStation at the time. So yeah, they couldn't really do that. Because they didn't believe in enforcing it. They thought it was like too much hassle. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go out, and I meet up with Jake, and I say to him, like, still don't know what happened. They didn't tell us. Apparently, I made like a homophobic joke, and then he puts it together, and then we both put it together, like, in our heads. And I'm like, dude, there's no way she got, like, freaked out by me asking you to play Rainbow Six Siege. Now, you're probably thinking, that doesn't sound homophobic at all. Like, what are you talking about? Now, think about this, right? Rainbow, right? And then Siege. You hear that in the same like sentence. And I guess as a teacher who doesn't really know what the game is, I guess in a way she could like put that together and be like, oh my god, he's talking about unaliving, people that are like a different, sexuality. And that's just not the case. Like, that's not what the game is. If people that you play for you people that have played it, that's just not what the game is. So we put it together, and I rush home. He goes home. I rush home, and I tell my dad what happened and what we put together. And my dad also played the game at the time, so he kind of understood what I meant. And they said, well, when we go into school, like, into the school for the meeting, we'll see. I'll talk to him about it. We'll see what happens. And yeah, literally 2 days later, he goes in, and they have the meeting, and I'm sat in the hall, and then I get called in. And the head teacher goes, he says, sit down, like, Westel, have a seat, let's have a talk. So I sit down, and he's like, so do you know why you're, like, in here? Do you know why we're having this meeting? I was like, probably because you guys think I did something that I didn't do, and I feel like maybe the meeting was necessary to discuss it. He's like, yeah, that's right. Maybe not a part you did something wrong. We think you have, but your dad here has explained to us that the comment you made could have been mistaken for something else. I was like, yeah, exactly. What I said wasn't the issue. I think it's the way the teacher took it, and I feel like you should maybe explain to her, or them, I don't know, what the game is or what I was talking about. And I get cut off because turns out the teacher was supposed to be there for the meeting. And she was like a guidance teacher, so she was kind of there for all high school exclusions and suspensions and meetings and stuff. So she came in, and she like looks at me with like the dirtiest look I've ever seen, and I just kind of like give her one back, like what the fuck, like, why are you looking like that? You're the one that got pissed over something I didn't even say. Like, you mistook it. Anyway, so she sits down, and the head teacher's like, like, hello, Mrs. Let's call her Barry, right? So, hey, Miss Barry, like, we understand what's been said now. We know the comment, and we wanted to explain to you that what Weston said wasn't the way you were meant to like interpret it. And she was like, no, I know what I heard. That was definitely homophobia, and we don't tolerate that here. I'm not having him in my classroom. I don't think he should be at our school. I'm done. I was like, miss, you have to understand, like, I was talking about a game with my friend, and she says, like, the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, I don't think I've actually gone over this. Like, I'm still pissed off to this day to think about it. She goes, no, you're talking about unaliving gay people. I'm like, what? No, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about a game. You know it because I've talked about it in class before. I've drawn pictures of it. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not like that. He's like, I don't know what you're like, so please don't put words in my mouth. And my dad's like kind of like getting pissed off because he's like, all right, this is clearly going nowhere. So he's like, all right, I don't think he should be kicked out for this. I know he's had a lot of problems before in school, but I don't think this is the ringer. You know what I mean? This should be the last thing. I feel like this has been misinterpreted, and I expect you guys to act your age, act like the responsibilities you guys have. And she looks at him, and she goes, I don't think it's your position to say anything, I'm going to say Mr. Westow. So Mr. Westow, I feel like he should be kicked out of school permanently. We've had enough of him. So that's what they did. And they didn't actually kick me out permanently because of I guess the comment I made. They actually kicked me out because of the overall suspensions I'd had at school. And to this day, I'm like, Jesus Christ. You know what? Fine. So, yeah, I get kicked out of school. And I'm like told I'm never allowed back. I'm not allowed on the premises. If I come back on the premises, they'll call the police. I'm like, that's a bit extreme for a guy that got kicked out for talking about a game, but whatever. So I go home. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, I got nothing to do. I was technically ungrounded because they realized that it was a mistake and the school isn't going to do anything about it. So, they gave my computer back. They told me, do what you want. We'll try and get you sorted out for like college or something. We'll try and get you to college or, I'm in like a different school or maybe just homeschooling. I was like, all right. And me being like like a kid, I'm like, I don't really want to do that. Like, fuck that. No kid wants to do high school learning. So yeah. Lesson learned, I'm not going to talk about games in front of teachers anymore, I guess. So maybe fast forward like a week. I'm still at home, playing my computer, doing my own thing. And then I get a message from one of my friends. Like a girl, like a good girlfriend, she's like a good friend, but she's not my girlfriend. She's just a girl who's a friend. And it's obviously a Friday, so I'm looking to do something, maybe go out with my friends, have a little drink, something like that. And she goes, hey, do you want to do an all-nighter with us? Now, this friend is notoriously known for doing all-nighters, and as in all-nighters, I don't mean like staying up all night, eating snacks, and watching movies. I mean going out for all hours of the night, finding somewhere to chill and not sleeping, and bringing a bunch of snacks, and maybe even go to like some abandoned buildings or something, Now, me being the kid who wanted to blow off steam and thought maybe we could go somewhere interesting, we'll go out, meet some new people, or bring some friends with us and do something cool. I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's fucking do it. So, obviously me being a kid, my parents would not agree to that. So, I called my dad. I was like, hey, like, can I stay at so-and-so's house? And we'll call her, Lila. So, obviously I said, can I stay at Lila's tonight? Obviously, like, we're just friends. So, he was like, sure. Just let me know, keep your location on and stuff. Now, just remember, guys, I was a devious little shit back then. So, I also had a way to change my location, like, live location, like, I could change it whenever I want. And because I had, like, a shitty Android at the time, I had this app that when I gave it, like, developer permissions, I was able to make it so my location was at, Lila's house. So I was like, you know what, I'll do that, and we'll go and see what happens. And that's it. So, obviously, I grabbed my stuff, and at this point, it's pretty early in the day. Like, I'd say it's about 4 p.m., so I grab my stuff, I grab my bag, I get some stuff ready, like a charger. I go downstairs, like, sneak some snacks. And obviously, at the time, me being 15, obviously, I smoke cigarettes. Obviously, being from Scotland, it happens when you're young. Not to everyone, I'm not proud of it, but I still smoke to this day. So yeah, I packed up, like, a pack of cigarettes, and I packed up snacks, some water and stuff, some clothes, and that was it. I was ready. And obviously, I did bring my charger, but I actually brought the wrong one. I didn't realize until later in the night, but we'll get to that. So, yeah, we're kind of chilling, and I'm like, you know what? I think we should get some people out. Now, I was friends with this guy, and we still talk every now and then when we see each other, but we're not, like, good friends. And let's just say I was kind of rude to him in primary school. I was very, very much of a bully to him, and I still feel guilty to it to this day. So if you're watching this, I'm sorry, bro. Like, I am sorry. It wasn't my intention to be like a little asshole to you. I just gone through some shit as a kid. You know how it is. So yeah. So I was like, you know what? We'll invite him out and his friend, who was his ex-girlfriend, but they were still kind of close. And yeah. So we invited them out. They decided to come with us, and we went to the next town over. Now, if you listen to my last story, the next town over was actually a high school. So, and the high school that I got kicked out of. So, I was still pissed off at the school for doing this, and I wanted to get sent like some revenge. We'd like egg the windows or some shit. But no, we planned the most devious, we had the most devious little shit plan you have ever heard. And this is the reason why I was so scared to talk about this on the channel, is because I could probably still get arrested for this, even though I was a minor, at the time. So I was like, you know what? Let's do that plan. And basically, at the side of that high school, obviously the school had sensors and, you know, like security systems everywhere. Alarms would go off if it was tampered with. So I knew that at the side of the building, there was this one door that you could just pull open. And like I talked about in my last story, obviously I was quite a big kid. I always had a bit of muscle. I went to the gym for about 2.5 years. So I was quite big. And I had a lot of muscle mass. I was quite strong. So for my age anyway, I was one of like the biggest kids in my class. And I knew that the door, you could rip it open with your bare hands. If I could rip it open, no problem. So I was like, do you want to do it? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we were thinking about breaking into this high school and sleeping there overnight. Now, the reason we thought of this plan is because when we had met up with everyone, it actually started snowing. Yes, Scottish weather, it's a pain in the ass. Snowing, really? Like, when it's not even winter, you know. So yeah, it starts snowing. And we need to find somewhere to go ASAP because we're all getting wet, it's starting to get really cold, and we just don't want to go home because at this point it's like 8 p.m. So, yeah. We go to the school, and I realize they've bolted the door shut with like a metal panel and like lots of screws. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, but I can't get in there. Maybe like, I'll try with like a coin to get the screws off, but yeah, I don't think I can do this. And I try, it doesn't work. Like I like turn one of the screws once, and then the coin just like doesn't work. It just stops working completely. I'm like, yeah, there's nothing I can do here. Like if I had a screwdriver or maybe something like a fork or some shit, I could maybe do it, but I don't think I can. I'm sorry. We'll have to like go home. And yeah, Lila goes, no. I was like, what do you mean no? We got nowhere to go. She's like, no, here, take this. And like this fucking legend, like I shouldn't be saying this because we shouldn't have done it. It was very illegal. But this legend goes, no, take this one. And she pulls out like the thinnest metal fork I have ever seen in my life. Now, like you know, like everyone does, you know, you kind of do some mistakes. You kind of make some mistakes when you're young. Now, this was like the biggest mistake I've probably ever made when it came to me being young and breaking the law. But yeah. So I start unscrewing the screws with this fucking fork, and it works. Like the first screw comes out, and I'm like, holy shit. And the second screw comes out, I'm like, oh my god, there's no way. And the third screw comes out, and eventually the fourth one comes out. And that metal panel just falls right to the ground. Like I just take it off and it falls down. So I'm like, right, alright, we can get in. So I tell everyone to stand back, and I dig my fingers into this slot like at the door. Now it was still like magnetized together, so it still hurt like a motherfucker. If this didn't work, my fingers would probably be like really sore. I'd probably like rip one of my nails off or something. And I just rip the door open with my bare hands, and I rip it open, and that's it. The school is open. There's no alarms going off. But what I did notice was that it was an emergency exit, so some sort of alarm must have went off. Now, me thinking not too much of this, I was like, alright, it should be fine. It wasn't fine, because less than maybe 5 minutes later, obviously the snow is stopped by now, but yeah, 5 minutes later, the police show up. And the reason we know this is because they left their lights on when they pulled into the car park at the front of the school. So we saw them, we ran back out the exit, we shot it over just a small amount. And obviously these like security systems aren't as advanced as I made them sound to be. They're kind of like old, but they still work. You know what I mean? They still work really well. They still detect motion. And yeah, the alarm goes off. Obviously silent from where we were. However, at the front, it was blaring. So when we went round to the front to pee, you could hear it going, we know. So we were like, shit. Alright, we're definitely going to get fucked here. Let's run. And obviously the police show up. And they like have like a key for the school. They might just have one on standby. I don't know. So yeah, they go into the school. They like search it, but they don't check the exits. And we see them come round to the door that we had like broken into, and they look at it. And because I'd closed it like perfectly, as to where I don't even need to rip it open. I could just pull it open, but it looks like it's closed. So you look at it. They don't see anything wrong with it, and they leave. They leave the school. They lock all the doors, like, at the front, but they don't lock all the other doors. So they leave the school. They turn the alarm off and they leave. And we were like, oh my god, there's no way. There's no way they left that open, you know. There's no way. And, yeah. Now, I'm not going to say these cops, or these police officers, should be, like, you know, investigated for like not doing their job right. But dude, if that was me, I would be checking every fucking door and every exit. Like, there's no way that they should, have let that happen. But they did. So yeah, we went into the school, and we shut the door behind us, like fully shut, because we can just push it open when we need to run out, and that would set the alarm off again. But yeah, so we shut the door, and we had the entire school to ourselves. If they turn the alarm off, it's not going to go off again because we're not going to open any doors like emergency exits. So we had this whole entire high school to ourselves. Now, they hadn't changed like at all since I was last there, but they didn't even lock the doors that they need to lock. So we had access to like key cards to open specific parts of the school, or like teachers' offices with like extra stuff. Especially things that they had taken from me and still kept in their drawers. I'll get to that part in a minute, but first, listen to what I have to say. Do not do this. Do not like listen to this story and think, oh my god, I should do that. Don't. It's not worth it. It was a very stupid thing for me to do at that age, and I do not like agree with it. I don't stand by it. I'm not like tolerating it. So just don't do it. It's not worth it. I promise. So yeah, let's get back to the story. So at this point, it's maybe like 9:30 p.m. and it's getting dark outside. It's pretty cold. So we're like, you know what? Let's go and like find somewhere to sleep for the night. So we have a look around the school, and I realize, holy shit, there's this place I used to go hang out with my friends, in the school, like in the gym cupboard. So I was like, we should go and see if it's open, and if it's not, we can obviously find the keys in one of these offices, just go and open it. And our friends were like stoked for that. Like the three friends I was with were like stoked. They were like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's fucking do it. So yeah, I go and check, and it's actually open. So we go in, and there's like a bunch of mats in there, like, like foam mats and play mats and shit and stuff like that. So we like kind of set up like a bed on the very top of them. And because they're all stacked together, like long ways, not like flat, we can like sleep like 5 foot in the air, like 6 foot in the air. So we do that. We set like a little bed up, and yeah, that was it. Like, we had a bed set. We're like, all right, bet. And I'm like, dude, I'm starting to get really hungry. And this school had like a breakfast club. So we were like, dude, do you want to go like to the breakfast club and see if they got any food in the fridge? And again, please do not repeat any of this. And I'm only talking about this because I feel like it's a funny story. But I do genuinely feel like if someone saw this, I would probably get arrested. So, yeah, don't copy me. Don't be a fucking idiot. And don't get yourself almost arrested just for some stupid story. Like, it's not fun. It's not right. Anyway, so yeah, we go upstairs to the first floor, and we're like, you know what? Yeah, let's try it. So we go into the room where the breakfast club is, and we realize the fridge like isn't locked, and the cupboards are all open and shit. So we're like, oh, all right, bet this should be fine. And yeah, so the food was all in there, and there was like stuff in the fridge, jam, like pancakes and all that good shit, like fruit juice and stuff. And yeah, so we just decided to make a fucking feast. Like, we just ate a bunch of food, and it was good. It was fun. But then we started getting a bit mischievous, thinking, oh, let's like fuck with the school a little bit. Like, fuck those guys. They kicked me out for some dumb shit, stuff like that. So we grabbed like the fruit juice, and we start putting it on the floor. Now, again, this is vandalism, and I do feel really bad about it, but it wasn't really me that did it. And I say we as in like, oh, I did all this. I was like, no, I didn't have like a big part in all this. I just wanted to sleep in the school because I had nowhere to go. But yeah, my friends start pouring fruit juice on the floor, and yeah, it starts getting sticky and it starts drying. And you can tell it's getting sticky because you can see when my friend's walking on it, you can hear like the noise. And then it leaves the fruit juice behind the door, and yeah, let's just say, like, when school's open again, they definitely found that fruit juice. So yeah. Anyway, at that point, we were like, you know what? We're getting a little bit bored. Let's like have something fun. And we go like back to the gym hall, and there's like, like equipment in there we can fuck around with, basketballs, like gymnastics hoops where you can swing off like Spider-Man. And yeah, at this point, I fucking love Spider-Man. Like, especially fucking around with those like gym hoops. Dude, you can swing around like some crazy shit. I recommend it if you ever get the chance to, fuck around with them. It's definitely fun. So yeah, we fucked around with some of the equipment for a while, and we had some fun, but to be honest, the fun kind of ended when we realized like we're like, committing like a massive crime, and we kind of start getting a bit of anxiety, thinking, oh, did I just hear something, or did I just hear someone, or just stuff like that. And then my buddy, like at the time, he was like, all right, I have a good idea. I think I should make it look like the kids from the town over did this. And now you had my town, a different town, and the town next to that. And that other town had like a massive problem with my town and like the town next to theirs. So yeah, we kind of framed like other kids. And yeah, so my friend had spray paint on him and he started spray painting. Now I was like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm going to spray paint like their logo or their tag or something. I was like, no, don't do that. That's spray paint. That won't come off, dumbass. He's like, oh, I wish you said that like an hour ago. I was like, what do you mean? And I go and he shows me, and he goes outside, like not outside, but like he kind of shows me from like the window, like opening the window, and I go out the window and have a little look, and he's tagged, like the biggest fucking tag on the side of the building, like basically like with like the town name saying like like I can't repeat it online because it might get like demonetized or something, but yeah, so he did that, and I was like, dude, you're a fucking idiot, like you're so dumb, what the fuck. We're supposed to make it look like no one was here. Maybe someone left shit out. He was like, yeah, it's fine. Like, they're not going to know, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? He was actually right. So we kind of all wanted to chill out a bit. So we just went to bed. We just wanted to go to bed. We went to sleep. And it was fun. You know what I mean? Like, the night was fun. We just wanted to sleep. And that was it. And at this point, it was probably about 11 a.m., 12 a.m. So, 12 a.m.? 12 a.m., 11 p.m. Sorry. But yeah, so we're all pretty tired, and obviously being quite young and doing all that and having a lot of adrenaline. And after the adrenaline left, it flooded your system, and then you're like, gone. You're so tired. So yeah, we go to sleep, and we wake up the next morning. It's like 6 a.m., and I hear footsteps, like in the gym. Now, you're probably thinking, did you do this shit on like a school night? And no, we did not do it on a school night. So obviously someone was in the school on like the weekend. Like, no one's supposed to be in there, dude. I look over and all my friends are still sleeping. We're all still sleeping apart from me. And I can hear someone in the gym next to us. And I started shitting bricks, dude. I was shitting my pants. And I wake everyone up and I was like putting my finger in my mouth, like saying, shh, don't say anything, be quiet. There's someone in the other gym, there's someone right next to us. And they didn't believe me. And then they heard voices and like people talking. So it wasn't just one person, it was two now, maybe even more, we didn't really know. And there was two exits to this gym cupboard. There was the exit to where those people were talking, and there was another exit to the other side, like a different hall. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gone. I'll see y'all later. If y'all don't want to come with me, you can stay here, but I'm going. And they're like, no, fuck that. Like, we're coming with you. Fuck this. We're out. And yeah, 6:30 in the morning, we're out. We just run. We run to the other side of the gym hall. We run like at the emergency exit. We run down the hill. We run to like the closest bus stop. And we realize how tired we actually are. Like, all of our eyes are like baggy. We're barely even keeping our eyes open. And we just did all that. Well, like, first waking up. And we get to the bus stop. And we're kind of chilling. We're like, holy shit, that was fucking crazy. Like, I don't know how they didn't catch us, because we left the door open. Like, we left it kind of open a bit. Like, a little crack of light. And obviously, none of our parents knew we were out. Like, no one knew we were doing this. And it was, like, our secret. Now, I kind of missed a few parts out just because I don't want to get in trouble still. But long story short, we did find the shit that was taken off me while I was at school. Like, old vapes and the key cards and stuff. Like, they were mine. So we kind of, like, stole them back, I'm going to say. Like, stole them back from the school. So we didn't want to get caught with, like, that shit on us, even though it is mine, and I can prove it's mine, but we were so skeptical at that age. We were, like, had so much anxiety. We were like, nah, fuck that. And the next bus wasn't for, like, another, like, 45 minutes. So we walk away. We go, like, to a different bus stop. We walk down the street, and we're sitting in, like, this bus shelter. And we start seeing police cars, like, flying towards the school. And we're like, oh fuck, like they definitely know we're definitely gonna get like picked up tomorrow morning or like tonight, and we're just gonna get arrested. We're gonna get so much shit. We're gonna get charged. And yeah, we get home after getting on the bus, and we all just kind of like go to sleep. Now I go to sleep. I wake up maybe like 2 p.m. and like to my parents in my room, they're like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, you came in really early from your sleepover, and you look really tired in the ring doorbell. What's going on?" I was like, "Oh, nothing. You know, I just wanted to come home a bit earlier, catch some sleep in my own bed, because I had to sleep on the couch. My back was sore, yada yada yada." And they bought it, but you can definitely tell there was some suspicion in the way that they were looking at me. So I just like kind of popped my head back down and went back to sleep. And again, I woke up 6 p.m. this time, and I was just chilling. You know, I was just chilling. I got up, checked my notifications on my phone. I had like a few messages from my friends just saying that was crazy last night. You know, should we tell anyone? And we agreed not to. Until like a year later, we started telling people. But yeah, then people were like, "Holy shit, that was you guys!" Yeah, there was like an investigation. There was police at school, yada yada yada, and they just couldn't figure out who it was. They blamed it on like other kids from like a different town, and that was because my friend, who was actually like, turns out to be pretty smart, who covered her ass, who I thought was like super stupid and fucked us, actually saved us because they were looking at like a completely different group of people. And yeah, like fast forward like how many years now? 3.5 years later, 4 years later, and we weren't caught. Now, I'm talking from this story because yes, I'm not that much older, but I've definitely grown up throughout the years, and I've realized that was really stupid. I shouldn't have done that. And I just want to tell the story, and it was a very long one, but just to make sure you guys are aware that doing this shit, especially at a young age, is not a good idea. So yeah, I mean, I never got caught. No one ever got caught, and it's a good story to tell. But yeah, don't do it. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, and maybe just leave a comment if you guys want to see any more of these videos. I haven't uploaded in the past 2 days just because my sleep schedule is fucked. So I do apologize for that. But yeah, have a good night, everyone. Peace.